and welcome to Friday Art with me, Kate Field. I do hope you are well. I release art tutorials every Monday and Friday and a little Wednesday wandering halfway through the week. I do hope you're well. I am still a little bit croaky because the weather is awful here in southwest England. Anyway, it has been a very busy but very exciting week. Those of you who have been following along and who are in the Facebook groups will know that the Heartscapes project has finally come to fruition and it's very, very exciting. More about that later. In today's session, we're going back to watercolours and we're going back to pumpkins, I think, because we are in autumn here in England and it's beautiful, even though it is very, very wet. There will be lots of weather references, I think, throughout this whole tutorial. So we are going to be creating little elements. I'm going to show you how to do a little sketchbook as well that you could make for yourself. So I do hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Last autumn, I created this little journal called Beneath the Autumn Sky, and I thought I would return to it this autumn because there are a few little things that I didn't kind of do in any depth, and a few people have asked me about it, and it's one of the things that I've been doing with my class here in the southwest of England, and I thought I would return to it. And the other thing that I really think would be fun is if we look at some of the metallic watercolour paints, because there's lots of people who have got metallic watercolours, they use them and they think they don't work properly, but it's because you're not using it in the right way. So I'm going to show you that as well. So I'm going to be using my Analinky watercolour paints and my Paul Rubens watercolour paints, but you use whatever you want. And what we're going to do is to have a bit of a play. I'm going to show you, we're going to focus on pumpkins and gourds, I think. I might do a few leaves as well. We're going to be using, like I said, the metallics and maybe a few little highlighters with an acrylic pen. So we're going to start off by doing blobs of watercolour. And this is what I just love, really, because it's just, this is where everything just becomes so much fun. I did these because you have to leave things to dry and then you build on them as well. But we're going to start off by doing the blobs. We're going to start off by putting some water onto the reds, oranges and yellows of both lots of paint. Very soft brush. And I'm working on watercolour paper. This is 300 grams per square metre. You need to have it quite substantial, but you could also use wallpaper or wallpaper lining. I am going to be cutting these out because they're going to become elements. So all I'm doing is putting blobs onto the page. Some are going to be long and thin, like this one. Some are going to be more round. And they're all going to have this sort of orange and yellow colour. I might do a few brown ones as well. But at the moment, just orange and yellow. And you can see that I'm working very quickly. Don't labour the paper because it will go all bobbly and not very nice. Bit of red on that one as well. This is the Analinky paints. I'll put a link to the materials that I use. I do like these. They're very good value. Very, very vibrant colour, as you can see. Just a few. Again, it doesn't matter where they go on the page because they're going to be cut out. Could do a few little tiny ones as well. So they are going to be my pumpkins and goods, and then I'm going to do another page that are going to be leaves. I'm going to do it in the same way. I'm using my very soft round brush, and I'm just going to put in some leaves, bit of water, just let it kind of float out. These are, so I'm going to do some larger leaves, and now I'm going to do some tiny ones as well. Again, just do it very quickly. You don't use a pencil. Be brave, and just give it a go. As I say to all of my students, just got to see, give it a go and see what happens, which is great. And if things go a bit wrong, then it doesn't matter. You can just move on and do something else, or go back to it when you're feeling a bit braver. But when we work quickly, we can free ourselves up just a little bit, which I think is really good for our art practice, and to sort of build confidence, really. Now, obviously, I am in autumn here in southwest England, but I know that a lot of you live in New Zealand and in Australia and South Africa, and you're going into spring. So you could do springtime colours, you could do lovely lime greens and things like that. The principle is the same. So you take the techniques and then you do your own thing. You could also go completely wacky and have blue and purple if you want to. That is fine. I am going to leave these to dry, and then we're going to come back with a little bit of magic. I've just come back to this one. This is one I did yesterday with these blobs. I'm going to go over some of the blobs. I did this as an outline. I was doing a demonstration in one of the classes, and we're going to keep that shape but build it up with a bit more paint. Again, you can just move. I'm using a thinner brush now. Move the paint around a little bit, adding some water, then adding a bit more paint, just sort of slowly building it up. This one I think needs a bit more orange. It's a bit kind of anemic looking, this pumpkin. A little bit sad, a little bit of a sad pumpkin. Right, let's cheer it up. The other thing that I did with my students, and we're going to continue it next week, is to turn these into characters. So our pumpkins are going to have faces and that kind of thing. Let's just do that. Can you see? You can just build up the shape, and I think it works really well. Just put a bit of water in there, a little bit more. You can make it as thin or as fat as you want. Just do another, just so that you get that idea. So I'm putting in that first bit in the middle, and then you can come round to the edges. And if you look at pumpkins and gourds, you'll know that they're all kind of wonky and different shapes and sizes, and I love that. These I will put into the journal. Now, I am going to show you how I make that flip book, because it was a long time ago when I did that tutorial, and I've had a lot of people ask me about it. That's why I thought, well, I'll update it with this one. Thank you so much for all the lovely messages and comments and things like that. It's so wonderful. What a fantastic community we have here. If you would like to join the Facebook groups, that would be lovely. It'd be so lovely to have you. We have two. There's Friday Art and Doodle Club, which is the general one, where anyone can join. And it's a very much a general one. Share what you're doing, thoughts, questions, just support each other, all of that kind of stuff. And then the Open Studio one is also free to join, and that's for people who are doing any of my courses, or perhaps doing like the prompts. And so like we've got Traces of October going on at the moment, And so it's a little bit more specific, and it's a smaller group as well because it's newer. But the links are below, and it'd be lovely to see you there. I'm just putting in some more of this space. I'm going to end up with a lot of elements, aren't I? But that's good. So this whole little flip book is just going to be pumpkins, I think. So yeah, so if you are new, one of the regular features we have on this channel is we have a weather update, and the weather at the moment in Dorset is not very nice actually. It's very strong winds and pouring with rain at the moment. So yes, it's a little bit. So let me know in the comments what the weather's like where you are. I know that last week people were commenting from Southern California and Florida and Australia, and it was all very lovely and sunny. Whereas I did have a few people who had commented they were in Devon, which is just across the border from me, and we had the same weather. Last week was awful. It was really awful. Anyway, so you see that I'm just putting these together. We can start putting some more detail in when they are completely dry. So I'm going to make the little book. This is an A4, which is like letter size, and it's 240. No, it's not. It's 160 grams. So it's not very thick watercolour paper, but that's fine because I'm actually going to be sticking the elements into the book. So that's an A4 size, and I just wanted it to be a little bit shorter. So it's actually, what is it? It's about 15 centimetres, which is 6 inches, which I think is quite a nice size for the book. Now I actually want these pieces to be joined together so that the book will be this length. So if you've got A3 paper, you could use that. I'm very much the sort of person who likes people to use whatever they happen to have, rather than thinking that you've got to go out and buy something new. So you use whatever you have, and this I think is actually really important. So I haven't got any A3 paper. I've completely run out. So I'm going to stick these two bits together. Yes, very, very sophisticated, isn't it? With a bit of masking tape. And I'm going to do that for 6 sheets so that I will have 3 lots of joined up. So I'll have three long strips of paper. And the leftover bits I will use for something else, perhaps doing some bookmarks or something like that. So I have my three bits here, and we need to join them together, and I'm going to put a line of stitches. You could use stapler, staple gun, something like that, or you could fold, oh here we go, fold this bit over. Actually I might do that, I might not staple it at all. I'm just going to put another bit of masking tape to hold all 3 pieces together. That would be fine. The masking tape will just have a texture of its own, and that's fine. This is not like a bookbinding course, is it? With the other one, I stitched the pieces together. It's a shorter piece as well, shorter book. The principle is exactly the same. So that, yeah, that's just stitched down there. And one of the things that I love about this sort of book is you can make it whatever size you want with whatever you have. And I will make these as a proper junk journal, just using scraps of paper and whatever I've got left over. I've done it using old greetings cards. Last January I did ones with old Christmas cards. We're just sticking this together and seeing how it all fits. And it doesn't matter if it's a bit wonky. It really doesn't. We're going to open it up into the middle like that. And we're going to take this edge, fold it in, and the same with the other side, just short of the centre, and then it folds together quite well. And you fold in these other bits. You could do as many pages as you want. There's no rules. No rules. Folding it. Those. Now we've got to the the last bit. And I want this outer edge to come over the top. But again, you can finish it off however you want. Fold that like that. And then this bit is going to fold like that. So it will be just short, but that's okay. And then we can cut out shapes, and I think that's what I'm going to do with this. Now, one of the things that you can do straight away is to put some background colour onto these, and I am going to do that. Because this isn't very thick paper, I can't make it absolutely sopping wet because the paper will just disintegrate. But I can put some on, but I'm also thinking that I could use colouring pencil, I could use acrylic markers, something like that. I could use acrylic paint, or I could do collage. And there is just so many different things that you could do with this design. So I'm going to have a think about it. I'm going to see what I've got lying around, and I'm going to start off. Sometimes I start off in the middle. I'm not going to start off in the middle today. I'm going to be very conventional and start at the beginning. So that's going to be the front. No, it's not. That's going to be the front. I'm not going to do that straight away. I'm going to do this bit here. I'll just give you an idea of the sort of things that I do. Obviously you can then do your own thing. So I've got a damp brush. It's not particularly wet. And I'm just going to do some sort of neutral browns, slightly sort of greens, that kind of thing in the background. It's not, I'm not making this very wet at all because, like I said, the paper will not be happy. Go over the masking tape, that's fine, that won't matter. I'll just show you how I do this bit. And then I'm going to do like a grey, as if it's like a grey stormy sky at the top. And really all I'm doing is just getting rid of the white. I might add to this, do different things with it. But I was going to be sticking my elements on to this page. So all I'm doing is just breaking up a bit of the white, and I'm going to do that throughout the whole book. You could do it one bit at a time, but there is no right or wrong here. It's whatever you want to do. So I'm going to have some fun putting in some colour on this, and then we'll go back to the elements. So what I'm doing is creating like a stormy cloud, and then some hills, and I've done that on all of these pages. It's very, very loosely done. I can always go in and do a bit more. This is a little bit more bold. I thought I would just show you a little bit of this sort of technique. I've just put some lines of colour here. Obviously, if we mix orange and green, we are going to get brown. I'll just get my soft brush again. And then we can start to just sort of put in very loosely, with keeping your wrist very loose and flicking the brush, trying sort of different techniques to create different marks really on this page. And we can do as much as we like. I will leave this to completely dry because my little pumpkin splodges are now dry, and we can get back into doing a little detail and some metallics. Come back to these ones. My soft brush again, and I'm similar to how I did before. So I'm going to take some of the oranges and reds. Let's just go into the middle to get that first shape, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of just a bit more paint, really, just a bit more in sort of intensity on this one. And you can do as much or as little as you want, but I just want to give this that outline. I am going to go over it with a fine liner, but I just want to do a little bit of these first. Let's just get this one here. Let's pop that one. See, just getting that shape, that kind of lovely quirky pumpkin shape. Oh, it's I do love working with these colours. I really do. Just do that. You see, just moving the paint around. I might just leave that white bit there coming through. Just moving that, blending these in. If you're new to watercolours, this is a good way to practice different types of techniques, because there are lots and lots of different ways to use watercolours, and I think that we can get kind of stuck in a bit of a rut. So even if you are an expert at watercolours, which I definitely am not, but there's always something to learn, always. Right, I'm going to come around with this one, but you get the idea. I'm going to just have hours of fun playing with this sort of idea. And then we're going to go in with some metallics, because I love using metallics in slightly different ways. It's fun. And a lot of my art is very, very much focused on fun. And those of you who have been watching me for some time will not be surprised at that. I'm just going to leave that white bit there as well, so I think that's quite good. Just to give it an impression that it's one of those really shiny ones, that kind of thing. Bringing that one. You're getting the idea. I will do a few more of these, and then we will come back with those magical metallics. Come back to this one. I'm going to put some water onto these metallic paints. I will put all the materials that I use in the description, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can pick up metallic paints. I picked up some in our kind of local hobbycraft, and they weren't very expensive at all. So this is like a gold, and this is the trick, is you put the metallic on top of a colour. Doesn't have to be watercolour. You can put it on top of colouring pencils, you could put it on top of acrylic, you could put it on top of felt tip pens. But when it dries, it will have that shimmer. I'm going to stick to sort of copper and gold on these, and you see that lovely shimmer. Really nice. You can't really see the shimmer until it dries, so you'll just have to take my word for it for the moment. A little bit over the top of the orange, and then you just get this lovely sparkle. It's great. I love it. I do love a bit of sparkle. in those. There, I will do a few more, and I'll do some on the leaves, and then we will go in with a fine liner pen to do a little bit more of the elements. I started to do some more details on this one and on this one. So I started to put the stalks in. So I thought I'd show you this one here, I think. So I just sort of mixed up a bit of brown. I like to mix up sort of purple and green to make brown, makes it a rich colour. And then we've got this kind of curve here, but we need a little bit more like that. Obviously I'm quite close to the one above. That gives you an idea. But yeah, just mix up a little bit more. And then putting in some of the lines again, just a little bit more. Mix that up just a bit. You can see the bit of the sparkle now on these, which I'm really liking. And you can do as much or as little on these as you want. I like the mixture of colours. I think that works really well. You can add a little bit more intensity. Again, just sort of blending it in with the water, leaving a bit of white on some of them. That is really nice. Let's just do this little one, the bottom here, the bit of darker orange, just like that, a bit of brown. Oh, let's just move that there. There we go. And then, oh no, that's too wet. Let's get a bit more paint on there. And then the stalk, like that. And then we can cut them out and put them into the book. Now I've done all the backgrounds, it's all dry now, of this, folded it over like this, and I want to do something on this front page, and I don't want this to be a straight line. Actually, I want there to be a nice curve in a sort of line with my pumpkin shape. So I'm just going to do a curve like that, and this is going to be the start. It's a bit jaggedy, that one, actually. Let's just tidy it up a little bit more. You could use a craft knife if you wanted to. That will work just as well. And then what I'm going to do is to do some more paint on this bit, but also going to put my element on there as well. And then I can start populating my book. Let's have a look at the leaves. All right, did a bit more on the leaves. I've added a bit of the copper, a bit of the gold. Let's add a little bit more, I think. Just, I really like adding these little bits. You could also use a gel pen, either a gold or a copper gel pen would work, or acrylic marker with gold. All of those look better when they're put on top of a colour, rather than just on white. They look good on black and coloured paper, yeah, absolutely. But when they're on white paper, it doesn't look very good at all. But put it onto paint, ah, yeah, there you go. Really good. Let's add a bit more of this gold on this one, like that. So I'm going to start to cut these out and put them into the book. Before we carry on, we're just going to have a little break, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Heartscapes project, because it is very, very exciting. I am so excited that the Heartscapes book is now ready. Oh my gosh, it seems to have been such a long time, but it is just so wonderful. I'm absolutely delighted with how it's turned out. And oh gosh, yes, absolutely brilliant.
So way back in February this year, I asked people to submit a piece of artwork for the project, and it was just the heart, really. What does it mean to you? And I had lots and lots of entries, and these I have compiled and put into the book, which is now available for sale. I will put the link below. And for everyone who buys a book via this channel for the next 4 weeks, I will put in a piece of original artwork as well, so that would be really good. And there's also a little film to go with it, and you may have seen that already, but I will put a link to that as well. So right, now we need to move on and go back to our pumpkins.
So I've started to cut out some of my pumpkins I've got here, and just sort of started to put them into the book. I'm just using a glue stick just to make it really easy, but you could use double-sided tape or white glue or something like that. But the idea is that you put in your pumpkins and your leaves. I'll put some leaves in as well. And you can leave some space for some lines of poetry or prose, or something like that. Just some thoughts would be fun. And this little book is just going to be full of pumpkins and leaves, actually. So I think I might write some quirky little poems about pumpkins and about leaves. But the other thing that we can do, I'm just going to stick these ones in here. Just my scrap of paper. Where's that gone? There we go. Let's just grab a little scrap here. There we go. Putting glue right to the edges of that one and just press it down, and then we can get the fine liner pen or acrylic pen or a ballpoint pen, and then we can start to put in some details. Now, you don't have to do this, but I think it's quite fun. Just gives it a little bit more of an edge, and then we can do a bit of shadow underneath, or you could do that with paint. And obviously you can put your markers on before you cut them out if you want to, but I thought I'd just do it this way for the moment. And I've got a whole load of autumn poems that you can have if you want to. They're in the freebies bit on my website. I'll put a link below. Loads of other resources that you can have if you want to, prompts and other things like that. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we are. But yeah, you just go and help yourself. You can sign up to the newsletter if you want to, but you don't have to. You just use them however you want. There we go. And I like that space there. I'll do a few more. So I've got these ones here. Let me just do a bit of a detail with the fine liner pen, quite loosely, and then I can cut those ones out. And the same with the leaves. And then we've got our own little book. Now, this is something that you could work through over like a course, or you could set yourself a task of doing something every day or every week. You just use it however you want. I really like these little books. I think that they're a great way to keep our ideas together, and in themselves they become little works of art, don't they? And you can just keep adding to them however you wish. And I'm just going to add a bit more on here. I think this one is running out. I think it is. There we go. Now, I have just started my Patreon site. Thank you so much for those of you who have been YouTube members. I have sent you all a message to say that I will be just sort of closing the membership in the next couple of months and moving to Patreon. I will put a link below. It's very, very new, but there are 2 courses there already that you can just have access to. If you'd like to support the channel, that would be absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for everyone who is so supportive, who have membership already, who just write lovely comments. It makes such a huge difference. It's just, yeah, you're just wonderful. Thank you so much. I can't stress how grateful I am to all of you. There we go, and I shall pop those 2 on there. I will have a happy time over the next few days and weeks with my pumpkin little book, and I'd love to see your ones too.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed that one and that you've got lots of ideas for your own journals, for your cards, for your sketchbooks, or whatever you want. And I would love to know your thoughts and your comments. And obviously, if you want to share your work in one of the Facebook groups or both of them, that would be lovely as well. And if you want to see some more, look at this one. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.